Okay, hi everybody. This is Susie. I am covering the rocket roundup this week, so bear with me. There's a lot of things to click, a lot of videos to show you, and let me know, does my audio sound better now, Paranor? He said my audio was a little bit high a minute ago, so does it sound better? Everyone let me know how you can hear me. And I promise this weekend at the Hangout-a-thon you'll be able to see me live too. Today, though, I jumped in to fill in at the last minute. Oh, great. Audio sounds good. That makes me very happy. So, you guys bear with me. We're going to tackle this rocket roundup. And yeah, I don't know half of what I'm talking about, but I will do the very best I can to tell you all. I've been learning. I spent all of my time last week with Pamela and Annie in between riding amazing roller coasters and stuff. I tried to soak up all the knowledge that these guys have about rockets and launches and everything else, so I'll try to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Thanks, huge thanks to Dave for doing this, our intro, and for Annie to get this together. So, all right, let's get started. December 11th was a very busy day with not just one, not two, but 3 rocket launches, 2 of which were just an hour apart. First up, at 8 a.m. UTC, 3 a.m. EST, Roscosmos launched a Soyuz 2 rocket carrying the Glasnost 59 mission to space. And let me go look. I think I have a slide for that. Here is what that looks like. Okay, the Glasnost 59. It's Russia's equivalent of America's GPS system. It's the third to the last of the second generation Glasnost satellites to launch. The remaining 2 will be launched sometime next year. Each satellite is about 1,480 kilograms, or 3,260 pounds. And for Americans, in Annie speak, that's 740 2-liter soda bottles. All right, let's see. We have a video to show, and warning, rocket launches are often loud, so let's see how this one goes. Apologies if it's awfully loud on y'all. Let's see how this one's gonna do. If we can hear anything. Okay, it looks like this is a slideshow that they gave us of all the various images. There's some noise. Now we can hear it. You get some pretty good close-up views, too. Pretty amazing. We're not used to seeing rockets going off in the snow. Not here in the U.S. Florida doesn't get snow much. Put cameras everywhere and let's see what kind of footage we get philosophy. Lots of loud rumbly sounds, yes. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So they're getting their version of the GPS system up and running pretty well. There'll be even more of these satellites going up, and as you can see, these launches look pretty routine. Okay, I'll stop that one. And now I will go to the next one. So just an hour after Roscosmos launched, India launched RISAT-2BR1 on board a polar satellite launch vehicle. Here's what that looks like. Okay, from ISRO's press release, PSLV C-48 lifted off at 3:25 p.m. IST or 4:25 a.m. Eastern Time from the first launch pad. After 16 minutes and 27 seconds, RISAT-2BR1 was successfully injected into an orbit of 575 kilometers in altitude. Subsequently, 9 commercial satellites were injected into their intended orbits. After separation, solar arrays of RISAT-2BR1 were deployed automatically, and the ISRO Telemetry Tracking and Command Network at Bengaluru assumed control of the satellite. My apologies if I did not pronounce that correctly. Bengaluru, I think that's right. So in the coming days, the satellite will be brought to its final operational configuration. So today we achieved an important milestone in the history of PSLV by successfully launching its 50th mission. Chairman of ISRO, Dr. K. Sivan, declared. A book titled PSLV at 50 was released by Dr. Sivan on this occasion. He further added that this versatile launcher has lofted 52.7 tons into space, of which 17% belongs to customer satellites. RISAT-2BR1 is a radar imaging Earth observation satellite weighing about 628 kilograms, or 1,380 pounds. The search and rescue satellite has an X-band radar designed to attain resolution of the Earth's surface down to less than half a meter, regardless of surface weather conditions, which will provide services in the field of agriculture, forestry, and disaster management. The mission life of RISAT-2BR1 is 5 years. Dr. Sivan appreciated the efforts of the launch vehicle and the satellite teams for realizing the mission in a short span of time. The 9 customer satellites of Israel, Italy, Japan, and the USA were precisely injected into their designated orbits. These satellites were launched under a commercial arrangement with the New Space India Limited, NSIL, the commercial arm of ISRO. A number of the small satellites were built by one country but intended for another country's use. For example, the 18-kilogram, 41-pound one hop sat-TD was built by Hera Systems in the U.S. as a demonstrator for a constellation intended to support Seguratech, a Mexican company. So likewise, U.S. company Tyvak built 2 CubeSats for this launch, one as a technology demonstrator for NASA and one to provide experimental search and rescue capability for an unnamed Italian company. Yeah, lots of tongue twisters in this one. PSLV C-48 is the second flight of PSLV in the QL configuration, with 4 solid strap-on motors. Besides being the 50th launch of PSLV, today's launch was also the 75th launch vehicle mission from SDSC-SHAR, which is the Satish Dhawan Space Center's Sriharikota range. PSLV successfully launches RISAT-2BR1 and 9 commercial satellites in its 50th flight. Oh, sorry, that was the title of an article. It's fun reading scripts. So anyway, let's see. I have to see if I can get this.
Streaming on YouTube and Facebook.
Let me see.
We are here to bring to you the live coverage of PSLV C-48 RISAT-2BR1 mission. The launch will take place today, the 11th of December 2019 at 3:25 p.m. Indian Standard Time.
नहीं है और ये रॉकेट सैटेलाइट्स को लेके जो आप आगे की तरफ देख रहे हैं ये रीसेट सैटेलाइट है और इसका जो एक बल्बियस अमाउंट है जो ब्लैक कलर का उसके अंदर 2 सैटेलाइट्स हैं और बाकी की सैटेलाइट जो आप एक ब्लू डब्बा देख रहे हैं उसमें है.
Perfectly normal flight as you have seen. A view of the visibility guidance. The range operation director just now announced that 4th stage performance is normal. The 4th stage is going to burn for about another
back up a little more. I'm sorry.
200 seconds, and we will open the top end of the dual launch rocket, which is housing 2 of the passenger satellites.
Minus 50 seconds.
Then, in next about 233 seconds, that is about 4 minutes, all the 9 customer satellites will be injected into orbit. The last one to be injected will be the one HOPSAT-1 satellite at about 1280 seconds flight time.
Minus 30 seconds.
This sequence of flight injections is chosen very carefully after detailed study to keep the satellites away from each other in the similar orbits. Just about 24 seconds into launch, now the excitement is very much there.
इस समय हम लॉन्च से 15 सेकंड दूर हैं.
Is that better on the audio?
अब 10 सेकंड की दूरी पर हैं.
10, 9.
अब आप टेस्ट राउंड में देखेंगे 2 RCS रॉकेट इग्नाइट होंगे.
5, 4, 3, 2,
इग्निशन RCS
0, +1.
प्रथम चरण और 4 स्टेप ऑन रॉकेट प्रज्वलित हो गए हैं और रॉकेट अपने गंतव्य स्थान की ओर बढ़ने लगा है. आसमान एकदम पूरा नीला है और आप बिल्कुल तरह देख सकते हैं बहुत दूर तक रॉकेट की उड़ान को.
We have a perfect liftoff. The PSLV visible in the clear skies, thrusting at its full power, with the first stage and all the 4 platforms burning, initiating their first gravity and lifting away from the launch pad towards its target.
इस समय करीब 35 सेकंड हो गए हैं. जो हमारा नेक्स्ट इवेंट होगा वो करीब 70 सेकंड के बाद में इस समय इसके जो 2 स्टेप ऑन रॉकेट्स हैं उनको अलग कर लिया जाएगा.
The strap-ons will be separated in about 20 seconds now. They are going to burn out and they have provided a thrust for 55 seconds and each of them have given a thrust of about 700 kilonewtons each. The PS1 is now burning and we are very close to the separation of the 4 strap-ons. You can see in the clear sky the PSLV just roaring away into the skies.
अभी अनाउंसमेंट किया गया है. स्टेप ऑन सेपरेट हो गए हैं. आपने देखा होगा जब रॉकेट उड़ा था वो सीधा ऊपर जा रहा था. अब आप देख रहे हैं उसको हॉरिजॉन्टल हुआ. इसका मतलब इसका जो पिच डाउन मैकेनिज्म है, जो पिच डाउन कमांड है वो रॉकेट को दी जा रही है ताकि रॉकेट पृथ्वी की गोलाकार.
Okay, Annie is telling me in the chat that's a good place to stop because it literally goes on forever. But as you can see, they had a very successful launch. So that is pretty awesome for them. So we look forward to more because they're working on getting their commercial satellite stuff all up to regular operation, just like all the other rocket companies in the world. I mean, really, I had no idea rockets went up quite this often until we started doing Rocket Roundup shows. So it is amazing how often these things go into space. All right, let's see if I can tackle the next one. Finally, on December 11th, the 3rd launch, Blue Origin had a suborbital test flight of their new Shepard rocket at 5:43 p.m. UTC. This was the 6th consecutive flight of this booster. Since it was a suborbital flight, the vehicle pretty much went up and came back down. It did cross the Kármán line, so technically the craft and the payloads were in space. On board were a bunch of postcards from children, which was part of the Blue Origin's nonprofit Club for the Future, and they also had science experiments and art. The science experiments included recycling waste to be used for life support or as propellant, as well as the effects of flight environments on bone biology. The art experiments in space were created by high school students and were chosen by competition put on by the band OK Go, who you may remember from their famous treadmill video, and Cognizant. For those of you that are curious, the postcards will be stamped and returned to the children that submitted them. And let's see, we've got a video here. Let me pull it up to 3814. And thank you so much, Dave, for giving us times. He is responsible for all of us not having to wait through entire videos or fumble to figure out where this goes. So here we go, Blue Origins.
There you see the gantry is retracting. That's a good sign. Means New Shepard wants to fly to space. I've got butterflies. I can only imagine if I were a kid with one of my postcards on board today, ready to fly to space and back.
That would be pretty cool to have your project selected to go up on a rocket. I gotta admit.
There you see the aft fin check. There are 4 of those.
Wiggling those fins to make sure they're fully operational.
And there you see the engine gimbal check. Looks like a nice clear range of motion. From what I understand, we are all systems go, ready for launch. I think it's just about time to turn it over to mission control. It's go time, New Shepard.
Go, New Shepard, go.
Recommend a hold.
Flight concurs.
Entering a hold at T-20 seconds.
All right, I understand that we are in a slight hold here. And we have exited the hold. Resuming count.
A lot of times those holds are just
9,
routine.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1.
I hope it's not too loud. This is a great camera angle.
And New Shepard has cleared the tower on her way to space.
That was a pretty launch. Definitely. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I see a rocket launch successfully, I do kind of do an internal squeak.
That gets me every single time as she exits the valley on the way up to space. Again, we are aiming for an altitude of about 350,000 feet or 105 kilometers this morning. You can follow along as she gains speed in the top right corner of your screen. And of course, as she reaches her altitude, you can follow along on the bottom left corner of your screen. We have confirmed max Q. That was the most intense part of flight on the rocket, maximum dynamic pressure as we call it, and a nice clean burn on that BE-3 engine. Go, baby, go.
Yeah, that's a pretty beautiful takeoff there. Definitely. Yeah, Hanny,
Right, next
I do
highlight on her
squeak.
way to
Usually
space,
you don't
main
hear me.
Engine cutoff, or MECO as we call it. Now, if you and I were flying on New Shepard right now, we're going to feel those G's come on. It peaks at about 3.5 G's or so. But as we've talked about on other webcasts, in the entire flight, you peak at about 5 G's, but just momentarily on descent, in fact.
It's going beautifully.
And there it is, main engine cutoff.
Successful
Great
main
job
engine
on its
cutoff.
ascent by that BE-3 engine.
Yay.
Liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen engine. Designed, tested, and proven here at Blue Origin. All right, we're looking for separation here between the capsule and the booster.
Let's watch separation and then I will move us
Separation
on.
is confirmed. those payloads are getting a nice
There
ride
you
this
go.
morning,
You can see it just separated.
experiencing those clean micro G's. And again, if you and I were up there, we'd be doing those somersaults. Maybe a superwoman across the capsule. And I for sure would be gazing out those huge, beautiful windows.
Okay, if I was in there and I were in 0G, I would be doing crazy somersaults, but they're not going to be doing them yet in there. But no, that was a beautiful launch, beautiful main engine cutoff, beautiful separation. Fantastic work, Blue Origin. That was great. So, all right, let's move on to the next one, which was on Monday, December 16th at Monday, December 16th at 7 a.m., a China Long March 3B rocket launched 2 more of the Beidou 3 satellites into orbit. So these are the 52nd and 53rd Beidou satellites in orbit, and this launch completes the part of the constellation that is in middle Earth orbit. As a refresher, the Beidou constellation is China's version of a navigation satellite system, like GPS, Galileo, or GLONASS that we saw earlier in this show. It doesn't yet have full global coverage, but each satellite added to the constellation expands their coverage. So as you can see, we are rapidly getting to the point where we're going to have multiple networks of satellites covering the planet. And these Beidou satellites, we often see a lot of them coming through here. There you can see an example of what the rocket looks like. That's a fantastic picture because we don't always see good pictures from China. But this one is a really good one. Let's see. Here is the video. Let me see. That image that I just showed you, let me back up. This image was originally shared by Aerospace News on the Chinese social media website Weibo. And to the best of our knowledge, no cows were harmed during this launch. Yay! There's no debris photos. So that's a good one. All right, let's watch that launch. Apparently it starts up pretty fast here on the video. That's a great video. Whoever's catching it was in a very good spot. And apparently it was a short video, which is fine. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, now we're going to go to the next one. Don't worry, we'll have more of those Beidou satellites because they'll keep launching those. That's a successful program that's going on. All right, so now we're on to the SpaceX mission that we were trying to see, but they moved it before we went to Florida. So we did not get to see it. We're still pretty salty about that. Okay, so a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched the JCSat-18 Pacific 1 mission on Tuesday at 12:18 a.m. UTC. This was the 3rd flight of this particular first stage and also the 3rd successful landing. Let's see if I've got another picture. There, that's a beautiful picture. The Falcon 9 rocket was tasked with lofting a dual-use communications satellite called JCSat-18 Pacific 1 to geostationary orbit, a high-path 36,000 kilometers or 22,300 miles above the Earth's equator, where satellite orbits match the rotation rate of the planet. The JCSat-18 portion of the satellite is meant to provide communication coverage over the Asia-Pacific region for the Japanese Sky Perfect JSAT Corporation. The Pacific 1 portion of the satellite will aim to provide communications coverage for areas in Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands without much access to the internet. For those who may be wondering why on earth this one satellite essentially has 2 different names at the same time, well, this is one of a growing number of satellites in which multiple payloads, often for different companies, will share the same satellite bus or body. In cases like these, a single bus will provide the power and maneuvering systems for all of the onboard payloads. The company which provides tracking and control for the satellite as a whole often has a payload on board, but sharing the space with other companies allows multiple businesses to also share the launch and operational costs, which might otherwise be prohibitive, because space launch is still expensive. But this helps to bring down the cost per pound or kilogram down. Speaking of keeping costs down, SpaceX was not successful in catching either of the re-entering fairing halves. But the company has refurbished fairings recovered from the ocean in the past and claims that's what they'll try to do this time as well. According to a tweet by SpaceX, the fairing halves just barely missed the nets. So they were close. But yes, space is hard. Okay, so let's see. Let me get this video to where I need to go. 12:20 for the launch. Sorry, you're hearing a little bit of how the sausage is made as you hear me reading things. I love SpaceX launches. They have the best video coverage.
Go for launch.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff.
That just doesn't get old, watching this. And night launches are gorgeous.
Liftoff of Falcon 9, carrying the JC-SAT-18 Pacific 1 satellite to geostationary transfer orbit.
Beautiful
Stage 1
launch.
is now in full power.
But yes, why couldn't you have been a few days earlier so we could have been there?
You heard the call for throttling down.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
We're approaching max Q. This is when the rocket goes through the moment of greatest aerodynamic pressure.
And it's always a relief when it gets through max Q successfully.
Maximum aerodynamic pressure.
Now the next three events that we have coming up will be in rapid succession. Main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start 1. Main engine cutoff, or as you'll hear it called out, MECO, is where all 9 engines of Falcon 9 first stage shut down. You just heard the call out for MVAC engine chill. Again, that's when we're pre-chilling those turbo pumps on the second stage. Now, the MECO will be followed by stage separation, or the separation of the first and second stages. Finally, second engine start, where we'll light the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage, begin to carry the satellite to its targeted orbit. Let's listen in for those.
And you can see all the different plumes because it's a gorgeous night launch, and you can see all of those.
MECO coming up in 20 seconds.
Looks like a flower in space.
So trajectory is looking good. Engine still at full power. On the left-hand side of your screen,
MECO. Stage separation.
There we go.
Yay! I love their cameras. I love seeing this. And did you see how fast that engine heated up?
The second engine, as the second stage engine begins to glow a bright orange, we have confirmation
First
there
and second
of
stage are on a
both
nominal
stages of the
trajectory.
stage separation and second engine start 1. So on the left-hand side of your screen, that you'll see stage 1 as it begins its descent to the drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. You can actually see the lights of Cape Canaveral there in the background. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, like I said, is the second stage. So we're coming up to fairing deployment. We jettison the fairing to shed any unnecessary weight from the second stage.
Fairing separation is confirmed.
So as you see there, fairing has separated. Again, we are attempting to catch those on our recovery vessels, but we now have confirmation that second stage is performing nominally, and we are looking good so far for today's mission.
I like how our instro is telling us the molybdenum alloy of the Merlin engine glows, but it doesn't deform under the heat. Molybdenum is one of those fantastic elements that you don't hear about a lot, but it's really cool to see how much better it works in rocket engines.
Trajectory from the launch site going towards Of Course I Still Love You, which again is about 350 nautical miles off the Florida coast. To successfully land, the first stage will need to do a few things. First, it'll need to reorient so its engines and heat shield enter the Earth's atmosphere first. Then it'll reignite 3 of its Merlin engines for entry burn to reduce the aerodynamic forces and heating experienced as it transitions back into the thicker parts of the Earth's atmosphere. Once it's in the atmosphere, the grid fins will take over, guiding the rocket towards Of Course I Still Love You. When we're above the drone ship, a little after T+8 minutes into flight, the center Merlin engine will ignite for landing burn, followed by landing leg deploy, and hopefully a gentle touchdown on Of Course I Still Love You.
Okay, I'm going to skip a couple of minutes to get up to the landing parts of here. Here we go.
Stage 1, landing burn, startup.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
There you go. You can see the Of Course I Still Love You,
landing leg deploy.
which is my favorite barge for them to land on. And even though the video wasn't fantastic, you can tell it was very successful landing right back on the barge.
Now, a bunch of things happened there. Secondary engine cut off.
It was dark, so it was hard to see, but as you can tell, it was perfect. Once again.
And booster 1056 has just recovered it for the 3rd time. This is our 47th successful landing. Congratulations to the whole team here. Now with that, the second stage is currently in orbit and will continue coasting for about 20 minutes until the phasing is correct for secondary engine start number 2. We're going to pause live coverage for now, but we'll be back at about T+27 minutes for MVAC engine relight. Until then, please enjoy this animation of the vehicle's progress, and we'll see you back here shortly.
Okay, I will stop it there, but once again, as always, if you go over to the blog post, which I will have up in just a little while this afternoon, we'll have links to all this, and you can watch the whole videos you want, anytime you want. Or if you don't want to wait for that, of course, you can always Google SpaceX, and they have them on YouTube. But our blog post over at dailyspace.org will be up as soon as I can get it up after doing this show today, because it takes a little time to get all the links in there for you, but we make it work. All right, I think that was the last one. Oh, I may have skipped a video. I think it'll be okay. So anyway, that would have been the launch, the landing video. I just skipped to it in the same screen. All right, so everybody, thank you so much for watching this show today. Thank you all for being here. Let me go through some of the credits here, because I'm reading 3 screens and doing stuff at the same time. So let me read all of this, and then I will see if you have any questions. Amy is actually in the chat, So if you have questions about rocket stuff, feel free to go ahead and ask, and try to use that purple star in the chat to do your questions. Let me go ahead and do all of the credits and comments here, at least that I need to read, and then we'll come back and see about questions. Okay? Hang on one second. Anyway, sorry. Let me come back to this. Yes, and that was my kid, the one that you're helping to pay for go to college. Just had to send her in the other room because she got a phone call. So, all right. Thank you all for listening. The Daily Space is produced by me and is a product of the Planetary Science Institute, a 501c3 nonprofit dedicating to exploring the solar system and beyond. During the month of December, we are doing a massive funding drive to ensure not just this show, but all of CosmoQuest's nonprofit programs can thrive in 2020. You can help us out by tuning in to our 40-hour telethon this weekend, our Hangout-a-thon, and it'll be here on CosmoQuest X on Twitch TV, or you can contribute through streamlabs.com/CosmoQuestX. And as you can see, we've got all the Nightbot commands showing up with all of the links over here in the chat. We've also launched a podcast edition of this show, so if you want about a 10-minute chaos-free version, click over to dailyspace.org, check that out. And once again, every bit, every subscription, every dollar you guys give to us on patreon.com/CosmoQuestX, it really helps. If you can't give financially, we really do understand, and there are other ways you can help our programs. Right now, the best way you can help is to get the word out. Tell people to watch our stuff. Share the links with other folks. Subscribe over on our YouTube channel so we can get enough people that we can do YouTube ads. All of this stuff helps. Okay, I am through all the scripted stuff. Phew! That was a big success. Let me switch to the chat because, yeah, remembering to click on all these things is hard. I don't think you guys appreciate how much Pamela and Annie have this down every day and can knock this out beautifully. And there it is. There, I can see the chat. All right, so if you have questions, now is the time. Ping those up. I'm going to look and see if I scroll back and see if I can see any with the purple star on there. Any news on the Sales body pressure test? Let's see. See who says that. Yeah, streaming is hard work. It is a challenge, and especially a rocket launch day with all the videos and slides, and I have to have them in different places. And I only have one monitor right now. We're going to work on getting me a second monitor so I can see more things at one time. Right now, I have one monitor. I have a script up on my iPad, and kind of have to guess when to switch slides because I did a text version and pulled the slides out so I could go and put it up on the blog post. So yeah, I do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. This talking is a little bit of a challenge, but thankfully you guys make it awesome. It's Star Strider saying she's sending monitors back with our intro. Make sure it's a PC monitor for sure. Monitors incoming. Yeah, Dave is wonderful because he lives near me and he is going to be at Pamela's for the Hangout-a-thon. So they use him to send stuff back and forth to me without having to pay for shipping. It's pretty awesome. Dave is amazing. He helps us do these rocket shows. He helps us do so much, just like all of our wonderful moderators. You guys are amazing. I think all of y'all should realize just how much our moderators are jumping in and doing stuff to prepare for the Hangout-a-thon. Because honestly, my time is somewhat full just doing all of the stuff we do every week, just keeping it going. And our moderators are fabulous. You guys help so much. And yeah, Dave, without you, we wouldn't know all of the stuff about all of these launches. And it also is awfully nice to have you be delivery man. And sometimes we go get dim sum, and it's pretty cool. Moderators are heroes too. That is very true. You guys are on the front line and make sure our chat stays warm and friendly and open and available so anybody can watch, anybody can ask questions. And there are very few dumb questions you can ask in here. There are a few. I won't say there are none, but there are very few. So, yep, ban everyone. No! We don't ban everyone. We just ban people who are being annoying. People who come in and are jerks. Those are the people we'll ban. If you're coming and you're cool, you don't have to know a lot about space or science. Okay, yeah, that question will get you banned if you're not asking it completely sincerely. Is the Earth flat? Now, if you're asking that completely sincerely, and we can give you evidence and information to prove to prove that the Earth is not flat, then you're welcome. If you're here to learn, you're welcome. That's absolutely true. If you're coming in to cause trouble, yeah, find another stream. That's cool. But no, we love our moderators. We love everybody in here. And we're here to ask questions. So I may not know about all the rocket stuff, but Annie's in here. Pamela is in here. They're watching me, which now makes me even more nervous because I'm sure I'm getting commentary. But hopefully it's pretty good. So does anybody have any questions about production? If you want to know, or if you want to know how Pamela and Annie do on roller coasters, you guys can ask me that. Because honestly, we rode everything we could and had the best time ever. Even though we weren't watching rockets launch, which sucked. That was the only thing that could have made that trip better. They did screaming. No, it was happy screaming. And I do giggling. I start giggling like a crazy person. So when we were riding the Hollywood Tower of Terror in Disney, they can tell you I was giggling maniacally. That's one of my favorite rides, and we got to ride it 3 times. And a huge thank you to the Lowell family, who probably are not watching right now, but they are the wonderful people that gifted us the Disney VIP tour. And I will be sending them a very large thank you letter on our behalf, because honestly, I can't think of anybody who deserves a VIP tour of Disney more than Pamela and Annie after all of their hard work and, you know, all the ups and downs we've had this year. And so it was well earned, and our guide was wonderful. And once she figured out that we were quirky geeks who really wanted to just ride crazy things and stop and shop in the Star Wars area and all of that, she kind of realized we weren't going to be difficult people to work with. And then she started suggesting things that she thought we would be fun. And she started even pointing out things that we could do. Is this a rocket? Pictures of. So we got her into it too. We had a lot of fun doing that. Yeah, she really hadn't been able to search and, to experience the Star Wars area before, because most of the time people are running from ride to ride as fast as possible to get as many rides in and maybe to get as many parks in while you have the VIP tour. Because the big perk is you go down either the short line or no line, depending on how new the ride is. And so most people just run like crazy people. And we were relaxing a little bit. We were like, okay, we've done a bunch of stuff in Disney already, because the lines were not bad this week at all. So we just focused on the 2 newest things. We do the newest things. We were doing the Star Wars ride. Sorry, I was reading what our intro said in the chat. Did the Star Wars ride, and then we went over to Animal Kingdom to do the Pandora, the Avatar rides, because those are some of the ones with the biggest lines. And so we were only going to 2 parks, which actually wasn't that bad. They were the 2 smaller parks. So our guide, Teresa, hello Teresa at Disney, you're wonderful. She got to relax and spend some time and take us through her favorite parts of the parks too. And I'm pretty sure that her favorite ride is Toy Story Mania, because she kicked our butts on the little shooting scores. So I think that is probably Teresa's favorite ride in Hollywood Studios. And then I think in Animal Kingdom, she loves the Pandora rides. She loves there's a ride where you go through it's the Lazy River ride, and you go through the forest of Pandora at night with all the glowy plants. She really liked that one. And she loved the Avatar ride where you're riding on the back of the Flying Banshee. So she really had a great time. Oh, there's a question for Annie. How many toilets are on the Millennium Falcon? I'm pretty sure there was at least 1 bathroom in that area. So probably like 10 or so toilets just because of it. But on the actual Falcon, the part we were in, we didn't see any toilets, but we saw a lot of crates. And the scene setting was very effective. It really felt like you were walking through the Millennium Falcon. We even got a picture in the area where the table where they play 3D chess is. That's one of the staging areas you go through for the ride. So there's a picture somewhere, and these pictures will be showing up, where you can see us sitting at the table. We're not actually playing 3D chess because they don't have that, but it was really fun. And we tried to take a lot of pictures. We tried to be really goofy, and you guys will see a lot of that probably this weekend on the Hangout-a-thon. As you can see, I'm really chatty, so that means I'm nervous, but we're doing well. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? If not, I will wrap this up so I can go and get the blog post out and the podcast edited and going out. Thank you, Paranor. Yeah, when they said, can you do that today? I was like, sure. And then I was like, oh crap, I get to pronounce all the Chinese and Indian rocket names and all that stuff. It's not too bad though. Annie and Dave are great because they usually put the pronunciations in the script, and that makes it easier. So huge kudos to them. As you can see, this is a team effort, and a lot of you are on our team even though you're volunteers. So we really appreciate all of you. And once again, thank you for your support. It supports all of us. It pays our bills. It pays our salary. And your salary paid to me goes directly to the university that my daughter goes to. And my son will be going to college next year. So next year I will have 2 kids in college. So let's do a lot of fundraising this weekend, please. Yes, educate my kids. Very proud of both of them. They're doing amazingly well. And yeah, you guys support us directly. And huge shout out to the Planetary Science Institute because they have taken us in. They love us. They're great to us. We have thoroughly enjoyed being part of them. And so we help them as well. We get to do fun stuff. Well, all right. I think at this point I'm going to stop babbling because I could do that all day. You will see that this weekend. I think I have about 6 hours here and there scattered around where I will be streaming. So you will get to hear me babble plenty this weekend. And just be prepared to tune in. I think we have a schedule up for the Hangout-a-thon somewhere. I don't know if we have that link, but if we do, Paranor will probably find it. Oh, there it is. I see it. He's already got it in there. See? Paranor, you're awesome. Love you. Thehangoutathon.org, we've got the schedule up. You can look and see what times you want to do, you know, what you want to watch, you want to tune in. We'll be on for 40 hours. One of us or the other. Now, we're going to take turns, thank goodness, and there's a lot more of us, but we're also going to have some great guests. So go look at the schedule. Mark your calendar so you know what time to tune in and see what. And you'll get to see me live this weekend. All right. I am going to stop now. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to run the credits and then get all this stuff posted. And then later today, Annie is going to help me set up my camera. So, fingers crossed. And I warn you, you guys will see my son's very messy desk, and he will probably be behind me occasionally playing video games this weekend. It'll just be part of the atmosphere. But thank you all once again for watching, and we hope you continue to tune in, and wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is, don't forget to go outside and look up. Bye-bye.